Hey, this is Pete with Many Imports. Today we're working on a 2015 BMW 550. This car came in with a check engine light and a misfire fault on cylinder 4 and cylinder 8. So we're going to be replacing the spark plugs on this vehicle. We found out the spark plugs are really worn out on this car and they have never been serviced before. So this is the reason why we're going with plugs. Here's a shot of the intake airbox coming off and just loosening up those two 6mm on the clamp, and then that should loosen up, and then you got the pipe that runs below that slides right out. And now I'm just undoing the clip that goes onto the mass airflow sensor. And in this video I'm only going to be showing one side because it's the same thing on the other bank. So this shot is the most important one. This is a that pipe right there is very, very brittle, so do not break it. If you break it, it's about $120 at the BMW dealer. That little horn looking thing that goes into the inlet side of the turbocharger and also the crankcase vent line. This car has the updated crankcase vent lines already, so those don't need to be replaced. But as you see, I am pulling all the coils out this time. These coils are really stuck in there, so they've never been out of the car. So I'm using a pick and try to pull them out at the same time. Here's the third one, and I realized I have to take that off. So it's a 5mm on the clamp. After you get that clamp off, the that intake boot should slide right off that. You do not have to disconnect it from the intercooler. So be careful, there's an O-ring in there. Don't let that fall out. It should just sit inside that inlet. And then there's a T30 for that plastic pipe. And once you take that out, unclip the crankcase vent line from it. It should slide right out. The crankcase vent line, just be very gentle with it, because that tends to crack due to the heat and the oil around there. So after that slides out, make sure all the O-rings and everything is still there. Make sure they didn't fall off. And here's the last coil coming out. Here's the spark plugs coming out. There goes one. And you can see on the edge of the plug they're really worn out. There's a better shot of it in the second here. So second one, third one, and the last one on this bank. On the lighting it's not so great, but I could definitely see all the marks on the edge. So these plugs are really worn out. So going back in, you always want to start your plugs by hand. Do not put any power tools on it. And that socket is a special tool that you get on Amazon for BMWs only. And I always use that swivel extension. Make sure you torque it down to 23 Newton meters. That's the torque spec for all the plugs on this car. Yeah, this one I realized I didn't have it screw all the way in yet, so there it is. There's the last one, and then just put the coils back in. Make sure these coils actually clip all the way in, because the connector sometimes tends to back out when you close the clip over it. So be mindful of that. Second one, here's a good shot of it. So the connector slides all the way in, and then you close that tab over it. So the other connector you see right there, that's for the mass airflow sensor. Has that little wipe tab that you have to pull that back before the sensor will come out. Here's the last one. Once those are in, make sure you just double check them, make sure they're all pushed in. And then get this mass airflow wire right there so it doesn't get bunch up and get underneath the air box. So you want it somewhere right there. And this shot I was just showing where the vacuum pump hookup was for this car. Here's the air duct going back in. I like to slip that in first because sometimes that thing is a fight to get it into the air box. So that goes down there, and then it will connect into a little rectangular piece that's into the bumper. That's where the cold air gets in for this car. And once that's in, it should just sit pretty flush with the engine. Here's the intake horn going back in. That slides in, and then once you slide it in, I like to clip it onto the crankcase vent lines right there. There it is. Make sure it clicks. There it goes. And you get that T30 to go back in there, and it has a little grommet / spacer looking thing. Make sure that goes back in. That's what holds the tension on the intake horn. So that's a shorter T32. So there's like two different lengths of bolts on this intake system. The shorter one goes into that, and then that clamp just goes over the intake boot that goes to the intercooler. Once that's in place, this is a 5mm. Get that tightened down and get the air box in place. Make sure you connect the mass airflow sensor. And then this part is usually a pretty good fight because the intake boot is kind of hard to slip over that intake horn. So just be patient with it, work with it, get a little pick, do not puncture it. Once it slips on, it feels like it's in place, it's in place. It's got little grooves on there, so you can't push it too far. If you don't get that all the way on, you'll have lean faults because that boot is past the mass airflow sensor. So it'll create like a false air leak into the engine. So here's me with a pick and making sure it didn't go all the way around. And, these clamps are 6mm, so get a 6mm socket. Oh, I loosen it up so I could get them in better position. So there it is. It's got those two arrows. Those two arrows will have to line up right there. So hold that in place. Get the tool to tighten that down. You don't have to kill these, just easy on them. Once that's in place, you're done. The brace, I didn't show me taking that off, but that's held on by a couple of 15mm. Like, comment below if you have any questions. Give us a call at Merida Imports. Thank you.